I'm going to share a couple of pieces of information about what it means to have a brand name fabric in your suit. And by brand name, I mean like a Loro Piana, a Scabal, Dorme, Xenia, that sort of thing. And these are all recognizable names, Scabal and Xenia especially, and Loro Piana actually too, because they also make their own retail products. So they kind of have a self-competing business where they sell cloth to other tailors, but then they also make suits themselves under the same brand name. But what does it mean to have a brand name fabric in your suit? And what is it good, is it bad? And there's a couple of different things here. So first of all, the quality of the suit comes down to two things. The first one is the fabric, and the second one is the construction of the suit. And not necessarily in that order, because what a lot of retail brands have done over the years, as they try to decrease their manufacturing costs and make everything a lot more turnkey, which requires less time, which is less of an effort game, let's put it that way, the fabric quality has actually gone up in a lot of retail brands because that's what they sell on, because consumers can feel fabric, but they can't look inside a suit to understand if it's really good or if it's not. And retail brands typically don't make a very high-end construction, with a few exceptions. With very high-end, expensive exceptions, and you know who I'm talking about because their price point is incredibly luxury-based. And if you're buying a brand name cloth, like the suit says, Loro Piana or Vitale Barberis, and it's a cheap suit, like especially from an online, like order online suit store, the construction of those suits is not good. Like because the cloth has a cost, and that cost is, ubiquitous across the industry. Some of us pay less than others because our volume is very high. But at the end of the day, you're not getting a quality product for free. Like quality products will cost more than low quality products. And that's just obvious. So a brand name cloth put into a cheap product is generally representative of a very low quality build of product. And again, the consumer that's price shopping, they don't know that, but they realize it later when their suit lasts them, a year and a half, and then you can't wear it anymore. Doesn't look the same, doesn't mesh the same way. It's just not the same quality of product. And so that's the thing about quality of product. Now, with a lot of independent tailors, what they'll do is they will put the cloth label inside the suit, cloth by Loro Piana, which is great. And a lot of smaller independent tailors generally have better quality than something you buy online, but not as good a quality as a large brand can construct when that brand can do customer bespoke, because the large brands have more money to invest into correct and better machinery for infrastructure. For example, John the tailor down the street can't afford $250,000 for a pressing machine. We can. John the tailor down the street can't afford a Strobel Swiss stitching machine because of the cost and because of the quantity of machines you need to produce more suits at a high quality, or he can't, he's not getting his chess pieces from Italy because of cost and logistics and other things. We can do that. Having said that, John the tailor might still have a very good suit. However, typically they'll put the label of the cloth in there. Why is that? Well, because they don't have a brand to leverage in order to charge a premium price. Like, you're not going to pay $3,000 or even $2,000 for a suit from John the tailor. So he's piggybacking off of the mill, and he puts the mill's label in there so that you know that you're getting what you think is a quality product because you're recognizing the name, like Loro Piana cloth, which is good cloth, right? But the reality is if they had a brand that had brand equity and they could sell it based off its own brand, they wouldn't do that because then that label undermines the brand. For example, we use a lot of cloth from various very high-end mills, some of them aforementioned mills. And in most of our products, we don't actually put the label of the mill in. And there's a couple of reasons for it. Number one, we get great pricing from some of the mills, and they just don't really want us advertising that we're selling this product at this price because it might undermine their other clients. But we're a big client, so we have a lot of volume, therefore purchasing power. And number two, we sell our own brand. Like when you look at a Brioni suit, you don't typically see or a Canali suit. It won't say the label of the mill, even though I can tell you which mills those fine, high-quality brands buy their cloth from, but they won't display that because they're not selling that mill. They're selling their own brand, which has equity. Brioni, Canali, people buy them because it's Brioni, Canali, not because of the mill from the cloth. And you can feel the cloth is fantastic. And so for the brands that have equity, for the brands that you recognize in retail that are high-end brands, you will know the cloth is good because you can feel the cloth. Like I'm wearing a suit right now. This is a pure Super 200s, by the way. This suit would retail at over $10,000. There's no label in here for the mill. It's a mill that's quite well known, very, very high end, but it's an LGFG artisan bespoke suit because what we're selling is our own brand because we have the brand equity built through tens of thousands of clients, built through years of successful business, built through trust between ourselves and the consumers. And so that's why in some suits from independent small tailors, you'll see that. And from larger high-end brands that have established and have brand equity, you often don't. And there's a little lesson about that.